Welcome.
Please welcome.
The Outdoor Project Podcast. Hear real conversations from industry leaders on the latest in the hardscape and landscape industry. Brought to you by Cincinnati's Landscape Supply. You're now streaming the Outdoor Project Podcast.
Welcome to another episode of the Outdoor Project Podcast. Today we're in sunny Sarasota, Florida, sitting down with Lucas Congdon with Lucas Lagoons. Lucas, how you doing, man?
Doing good, man. I like that. OPP, guys. What's up?
I love the OPP, man.
It's our new song.
Marketing strategy.
Yeah.
Outdoor Project Podcast.
Ben's got to get on that.
Who's down with the OPP?
Yeah, you know me. You got quite the showroom over here.
Yeah, this is a work in progress. We're almost done. But yeah, I mean, for years I wanted to, I wasn't sure. We kind of went through a lot of different ideas over the years. And then, real estate's really expensive downtown here. So we actually bought two properties. We bought one for the construction office where we have a 5,000 square foot building, an acre to kind of keep everything and do the accounting. But I wanted something really cool, like a downtown loft feel. I didn't want to clutter it up like your typical pool showroom with just tile samples and stuff. I really wanted it to be a design studio. We have a couple samples, of the main things, but, I think, most people know us from the show. They kind of know the work we do. So I really wanted a space where you could just kind of hang out, have fun, feel really relaxed, go over designs. We actually have some of the virtual reality goggles. We haven't got to try them out yet, but the whole idea is to sit down here, go over designs on the big screen TV, put on the goggles, hang out. Someone wants a glass of wine or a coffee, just really chill atmosphere. We have all the cool bars and restaurants and art galleries here. So just thought, kind of this downtown loft vibe would be a cool space.
That's a lot of money down here.
Yeah, it hurt.
That Insane Pools has really, branded your name. So how do you think going forward it's going to help your business?
I think with any business, the hardest thing to do is kind of get your brand out there, show what you're capable of doing. And so that's really been the biggest benefit of having a TV show is people see our personality, see we're fun. We really love what we do. We're creative. We really care about the project and the clients. And so, when people call me up, they already feel like they know me. So I'm not really selling them. I'm just hanging out with them, kind of figuring out what would be the coolest design for their family. And so, yeah, it's almost like I meet people and we've been friends for 10 years. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's great. I know a lot of guys are on social media and doing the same thing, so they're taking footage every day and they're building trust within their clients and stuff like that. And I think that's what the Insane Pools did for you.
Yeah.
I mean, on a bigger level than what these guys are doing, but man, it's crazy. It's beautiful.
You're not doing the TV shows anymore. You kind of got out of that. Are you still doing a lot of these pools?
Right now we have 2 years of work. Our average job's around $750,000. We have residential projects over $2 million a piece. So we have just a ton of work going on right now. So it's great to actually have the time to focus on those projects. We're actually going to be doing a lot more, starting to ramp up our own filming again. We started on YouTube, and that's how they found us for the show. So kind of back to the roots and doing something that we can actually control. The show is great. We're so proud of it. But when you're filming, all your time's dictated by a third party, and it's very difficult to run a business and have a life or be a dad or a husband or all that stuff kind of goes out the window. You're just become a slave to the TV. And so it's been great, just having this time to just focus on our craft and get back to somewhat of a normal lifestyle.
Yeah, that was one of our questions we actually wanted to talk about is the filming process, because it seems like you lose probably a lot of your efficiency when you're having to film and do takes after take.
Yeah.
It just kind of slows the process down. Was that tough for you?
Yeah, season one, every season was very tough, but almost got tougher. Even though I knew what we were getting into, I felt like they wanted to make every season better. And so to them, they thought, producing more, setting up the scenes instead of really a follow along, it kind of took the reality out of it in a way. It just, the takes and the retakes and telling the story, So yeah, it was very invasive to getting the project done. At the end of the day, though, again, very proud of the show, and everyone I worked with was super cool. Became like family. Like, these are great people. So that part was cool, and it's almost like when we stopped filming, you kind of miss. It's almost like it's weird because you spend every day for years with these people, and all of a sudden you don't see them again, and it's like losing a best friend. It's kind of strange. So, but I mean, in terms of business, so now we're very profitable, doing very well because we're not paying our guys to pretend to work half the time.
Oh, right. Yeah. I know. Out of a day, let's say a 10 to 12 hour day. I mean, what were you getting? Like Chris said, efficiency. How many hours?
Yeah. I mean, maybe 50%.
Wow.
Yeah.
So now, did you go into it knowing that, or was it just hit you blindside?
Yeah, it's one of those things where, I always, for some reason, had this dream to be on TV. I didn't know it would end up being, doing a pool show. When I was younger, I just made stupid videos, thought I'd be kind of like a jackass type thing. But it was cool that I found my passion with the pools, and then the show came after that. So it was cool to actually do something that, to me, it's even better because I get to inspire kids to be creative. I feel like, so many kids are kind of lost in their iPads and stuff that they're, not really outdoors and playing. I grew up without even any TV really. So I was always outdoors, being creative, playing with sticks, whatever, just making stuff, you know? And I think that really, I know nothing else other than just kind of living in my imagination, imagining something and building it. So I just want to inspire kids to, work with their hands more and use their imagination. And, the show, I think, did that a lot. And I get great feedback. Like, I remember one dad told me, he had recently gone through a divorce. He has this 12-year-old daughter. They had a hard time kind of finding stuff to connect on or things to do together. They found my show and they loved watching it together. And it's just great to hear stories like that. It's really cool. So very rewarding, but when you're in it, it's tough. It's brutal.
Yeah, you got to have a high anxiety level. I mean, you were just saying the price of most of these jobs. I mean, nothing really under $750,000 mil.
Right.
The stress level of a huge project, your efficiency level down because you have to film the homeowner on your case because they want to be able to get in this pool and actually use it and see where all their money's going to. So the anxiety level for you has got to be through the roof. I mean, for me, it would be, I couldn't do something like that. It's definitely impressive.
Yeah, well, you don't have a choice, right? You're thrown into something, it's a great opportunity. You gotta make it happen somehow. But I mean, on a personal note, like I found out I have like this irregular heartbeat, and so I've been really working out, eating better, trying to not let the stress get to me. I mean, it's crazy. You just think you're in, I thought I was just Superman. I could just push myself so hard, and everyone's like, man, something's going to happen. I'm like, no, I'm good. I just went so hard constantly. I mean, last year I flew like 30 times, drove 50,000 miles, doing all these projects, just constantly on the road. And then when I get home, trying to, focus on the kids and my wife and just, never having a moment for myself. I grew up mountain biking, snowboarding, kind of all those hobbies went to the side, and it was just work. So, this year my goal is to really kind of focus on some me time and family time, and still doing these amazing jobs, but it's tough, man. When you're laying there thinking you're going to die of a heart attack, you realize okay, what's really important?
Something's got to change,
something's
right?
Got to change, yeah.
Yeah, because you're a hands-on guy too. I mean, especially seeing you in the TV shows, you're in the excavators, you're hands-on, tearing stuff apart, putting stuff together. It's cool. Your team is key. I mean, that's where. I think that's what's going to make you successful, and it looks like you got the right team in place to do that.
Yeah, it's taken a long time to assemble the team. I mean, a lot of the guys, everyone you see on the show has been with me a long time, but the people you don't see are the 20 plus other people that we've hired in the last few years and partnered up with, and just unbelievable. It's been really cool to find talented people that care. And just been blessed with great people. And you're absolutely right. I mean, especially when you grow, I went from doing everything to having to basically now I'm just as busy delegating and figuring out how to put someone in charge of everything as I was doing everything, because that's how much busier we are. We went from about a $2 to $3 million a year company to $16 million in pools in a year, and they're all super custom projects. So, it's that's for us that's a lot of pools. Even just 20 projects of this caliber. I mean, that's a lot.
You talked about your love for being in front of the camera.
Yeah.
What about your love for pools and water? I know when I grew up, we grew up in Rochester, New York, so I remember going on vacations to Niagara Falls and just learning how to swim. And, and the Niagara Falls is like, I don't know, the eighth wonder of the world. And all I remember is learning how to swim in an in-ground pool. And that was my love for pools, and I still have it. And I was just wondering what your love for pools and what made you do this?
Right. Well, that's funny that you say that, because actually the first pool I remember is a above ground pool. My aunt and uncle in Pennsylvania had one, and we go in the summer and play Marco Polo in that thing all day long.
Yeah, Marco Polo.
So I thought they were, it was so cool. And the fact that they had a pool, I didn't know, like years down the road, I'd look at that pool and be like, what a piece of junk. But that thing was cool, man. As a kid, like that was the fact that they had, a four-wheeler to ride around on and a pool. And they were like, it was the most fun place to go.
The little things in life like that that make you remember,
And then the transition from an above ground pool to what you're doing now is crazy. How about your first job?
My parents got divorced when I was 10. My mom started a landscape business. So from, basically 10 years on, I was helping her do the landscaping work. And as I got older, she used to sub out all the tractor work. So at 18, I bought a skid steer and started doing all the work that she'd hire somebody else to do, and started really doing just, big boulder work. It was all dry laid in Vermont because of the freeze thaw, but did big boulder retaining walls, staircases, patios. We did some waterfalls, mostly into ponds, and then but I was sick of just being broke all winter. So I saw my mom, we'd make money in the summer, go broke all winter. I was a snowboard instructor, which was fun, but at $6.25 an hour, it pays your fuel and that's it. So I headed out on an adventure with my girlfriend at the time around the whole U.S. looking for a place to move, and really liked California, but it was so expensive there. I really loved Siesta Key Beach right here, and said, what, I'm going to move to Florida. And so I moved down here and worked for somebody for about a year, and then started a landscape business once they kind of learned the plants down here and everything. So I was doing landscaping and tree work and, doing little landscape projects, and they were getting to bigger landscape projects. And then I had an opportunity about 2 years after that to do a pool remodel. I was looking at this pool thinking, why does everyone have the same pool? If I could do the rock work that I did in Vermont on a pool, I said, that would be so cool. And so after that first project, I was hooked. So I dropped the old landscape name. I started Lucas Lagoons, and kind of the rest was history. It just kind of took off from there. So that first job was a $35,000 pool remodel. And, now that's the cost of a design.
Yeah, a third of the design.
That is crazy. Do you ever wish you went back to those jobs or no?
No, I mean, I still check on a lot of jobs and still, have pictures of, actually the other day I was in the construction office going through boxes and finding old pictures and old proposals, and it was kind of neat going down memory lane. I'm thinking about putting together some kind of book and do kind of like a history of Lucas Lagoons and kind of show from the beginning to where we are now, because in the beginning we actually did a lot of sand bottom lagoons built like a pond, really. They were like swimming ponds.
Yeah, like a recreation pond.
Yeah, so we, with the pond liner, the sand on the bottom, the rocks on the side to retain the walls, and it was, cool. We used ionization, so it was a naturally purified water and had a lot of plants around it, and even inside the water, they were super cool. Definitely a more cost-effective way of building a big lagoon. But, as the jobs got bigger and crazier, and, the problem with the liners is if there's ever a hole, your project is a total loss. So we did have one that, after 5 years started to leak, and we ended up having to build a pool inside a pool basically to fix it. And then after that, I was like, we're just going to do concrete construction, which, is a lot more money, but, once you get your name out there, show people what you can do, you just constantly improve on, the way you build things. And so now, I mean, our jobs are so massive. We use just, 4 times the amount of steel that you would use in a regular pool. We use a lot of helical piles, a lot of times under the grottos to support the weight. Always looking to, build a bigger, better pool. I mean, I really want these pools to be around long after I'm gone, and that'll be my legacy, to have these, awesome features.
You want to build these things to last. I mean, you're putting a lot of money and effort into them, and then to get a call back a year later saying my pool's leaking, that can't be a cheap fix.
No.
So you got, we've seen some pretty unique pools. What kind of pools you like doing? Do you like doing the infinity pools? Do you like doing a bunch of the natural stone stuff, the big boulders? I mean, what's kind of your niche?
Well, so, we're best known for our big grottos, the natural rock work, but I've been really enjoying just new challenges. So one of the jobs that we did on the show was like a big kind of Grecian old world style pool, and that was cool because it was just totally out of my wheelhouse. But I was really scared the whole time it was going to look kind of gaudy, but in the end it just felt really opulent. It was cool. We're doing a lot of cool modern designs, so people hear the name Lucas Lagoons, they think we just build lagoons, but kind of that modern clean line look is really coming back strong right now. So we've been having a lot of fun with designing some really cool modern pools with big kind of Lexan panels or modern grottos even. So just doing a lot of different things, building massive grottos on some of these lagoons. We're doing a $2 million lagoon right now with a big lazy river, and I mean, the grotto is almost the size of this entire building right here. It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
I remember watching your show. You had a buddy that did, he sold speakers, I think it was.
The speakers, Frankie.
Frankie, yeah.
Frankie the speakers.
That was one of the coolest episodes because I think you weren't allowing them to look at the project.
Right.
And the wife was a nervous wreck.
Yeah.
That project was so sick. That was probably one of the coolest pools I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Do you get to do that a lot of times, or do these customers need to know what you're doing, need a design and see a plan in place before you're installing this project?
Yeah, I mean, typically, they're highly involved in the planning stages, but then you get clients that are like, look, I trust you. I just want to let you do your craft and just do something amazing. I know you will. And then you have those clients that want to stand over you with the tape measure. So it just depends on the personality, but yeah, so the Frankie Lagoon was kind of a hybrid of what we used to do with the liner, but then we put the concrete over top of it all so nothing can ever puncture it. And we were able to build, that thing was like 2,500 square foot.
He had a huge area in that backyard.
Yeah. I mean, there's a party there tonight if you want to come check it out.
I'd love to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
camping
because
party.
it wasn't just only the pool too, because you do a lot more. You do the I think you do the landscaping, you do the grills and everything. I mean, that place is a nice party spot.
Well, he said his mom's a landscaper, so
Yeah.
I'm sure she taught him growing up.
I love it because all the fire features. I mean, besides pools and the lagoons and stuff, you do a lot more. I mean, it truly is an art form. And I think, was there a point where you knew you had to switch maybe from 2D drawings right to a 3D dimensional drawings? And at that point?
I really procrastinated longer than I should have. I was always kind of afraid of computers and technology. I'm a hands-on guy, but once I took the time to, learn the 3D software, I mean, I can fly through it now and show something so cool. And, the designing and the consulting has been a great revenue stream for me personally. So that's been really awesome and fun, and just meeting people and being able to get my vision onto something that I can show them instead of just kind of, like my guys always pick on me, like, oh yeah, the waterfall like this, or like you use hand movements and we're supposed to know what that means, because in my head I can see it, I'm out there like,
are you Italian? You talking with your hand? Hey, oh wait, yeah.
That's great.
So,
I mean, you branded your name so good. I mean, at this point it seems like, I know your love is to build, but can you just design and consult just with your name. I mean, it seems like that would play a big component in your business.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to find people to do the rock work that we do, but there's a lot of talented builders. But yeah, I mean, we've been doing a lot of consulting. I love that. My goal with the brand is to, start this kind of brand distribution. So if you're an authorized dealer of Lucas Lagoons and you're a pool builder, we help with the design. We help, teach our techniques and their methodology on construction and helping them elevate their brand and their income as well. So we've been partnering up with different pool companies in different areas. We get requests from even all over the world. I got to do some designing and consulting in Australia, which was super cool. And then we did a hotel in Madrid, Spain, this water feature kind of dining area. It wasn't even a pool. It was just this really cool, modern dining area. It was like an outdoor restaurant with all the water features and everything. So that was really cool. So yeah, I mean, I really love that. And going forward, it's really building a great construction team that can also mobilize and build in other areas, but trying to work with local companies wherever we go. And so that way we can build these teams in different areas and just kind of, instead of trying to have 100 employees and have all this overhead and offices all over to try to manage, just working with really good people and kind of combining our talents. And what's fun about that is, other people have really good ideas too. So just kind of meeting people and learning and just keeping an open mind. I think when, if you kind of let ego get in the way and start thinking everything, you might as well quit because you're never going to be any better than you are right now. And my goal is to constantly learn and get better and better.
I'm sure you learn something new every day. Every pool, every project you do, you're going to learn something new because no job's the same. Yeah. And that's key, like you said. I mean, not having that cocky attitude that you know it all, because it really, at the end of the day, it's not going to get you anywhere.
Right.
Yeah, you said you travel a lot to your jobs, and I know if you could stay local and maybe keep that price down a little bit would probably be the best option. But you do travel a lot, and I'm sure that kind of affects the efficiency. And one of these questions, because we're a distributor, Sensenig's Landscape Supply, out of Rochester and Geneva in New York, and we have a lot of loyal contractors. But when you're traveling, how do you find the suppliers you need? I mean, look at all these jobs you're doing, whether it be the marble or travertine and all the stone. So if you're doing a job 3 hours away, how do you find your suppliers? Or is it kind of affect the job at the end of the day when you can't, you don't have a loyal supplier?
Yeah, I mean, so the Tennessee rock we use on a lot of pools. I mean, I pretty much ship that most everywhere. When you get really far out west, like the job we did in Utah, we have one coming up in Nevada and California. Then I have to start looking at other stone suppliers just because it's not efficient to ship all the way across the country. But the whole kind of southeast up to the northeast, we ship the rock. But yeah, as far as like travertine and stuff like that, most suppliers are able to ship, but again, if you get to a certain distance, then you lose the efficiency and it gets more expensive. And the whole idea is to try to build these clients the coolest thing we can for the best price. So, but yeah, again, it's tough, because it's not just suppliers. You have to find, new people to work with, different subs, different trades. Luckily, we have built a mobilized crew. So, I mean, right now we're building one up in Kentucky, in Louisville. So I actually got my front end crew there right now getting a pool shell put in place. We did one up in Michigan. So, when we can't find people to work with, we send our guys out. But again, efficiency. So if we send our crew out, we have to put them up in a hotel or find an Airbnb or something like that, which again adds to the cost. So, we kind of fill in the gaps where there's gaps, but try to use local suppliers and people as best we can.
Yeah, you guys are all over the country. Are you guys, you said you have a mobile team, but are you bringing all your equipment with you on the road? Are you renting a lot of this equipment? How's that working out for you?
Yeah, I mean, both. We have a lot more equipment now, but, when we get into kind of Michigan and stuff, we're not going to bring our equipment all the way up there. We're going to rent. Sometimes we actually did bring one machine up to Alabama on a job we did, but yeah, typically it's, rent local equipment and especially because we have jobs going all over Florida too. So we don't have enough equipment to supply every job anyway. So if we kind of keep our equipment on the local jobs and then rent what we need on the.
It seems like you got some big rocks in a lot of these projects. You got to bring in the big excavators. They're not just little minis and mini skid steers. I mean, you can, but it's got to be hard sometimes moving a lot of this product, and especially getting equipment to the backyards.
Yeah.
Is there any special tools, like tools in the industry? And we sell a lot of tools,
Yeah.
boulder grab, stuff like that. Is there any new tools in the industry that you guys utilize for all this big all this big boulders and all the rocks that you guys move?
Yeah, I mean, right now we're actually in the process of buying a spider crane. It's pretty amazing. I think it fits through like a 54-inch gate, and then when you get it into place, it unfolds. And you can still move like almost a 9,000-pound rock.
Wow.
And you can reach, not with 9,000 pounds, but you can reach out 50 feet. It drops to probably only 2,000 pounds by that point. But yeah, just, getting into these tight yards and trying to move these big boulders. So that's going to be a really cool tool. We're excited to get that.
Wow.
So yeah, always kind of looking for different things that are going to help with efficiency. The other nice thing is, most of these rocks, when the equipment's so large that we can't move it with our pickup trucks, you have to then find a shipping company to move it, which gets expensive, and then you're relying on them. This spider crane only weighs 12,000 pounds, so I can pull it behind my F-350. Even if I go out of state, it's not a big deal. You're driving anyway with your tools to bring maybe one piece of equipment. So that's something that's going to be great for the rock crew to kind of take wherever we're setting boulders.
A day in the life of Lucas Lagoon.
Yeah.
Lucas, can you run us through the whole process from start? You get a customer in here. Where does everything start?
So, customers reach out to us now that we have this design studio. If they don't, especially if they're out of state, if they don't want to pay for a consult right away, they can come meet us here, kind of go through some ideas, some budgets. But, then we get into the design phase. So, I travel a lot for consulting but, it's really meeting the family, getting all the information, getting their site plan, getting, if I'm not there on site and they're, in California, let's say, we usually get a real estate photographer to go document the house for me, get me the site plans, get me any building plans so I can really see what that project is. Then we model the, entire property in 3D and start the design work. So I broke it up into two different companies. We have our design company and then our build company. So I'm 100% owner of a design, so it really starts with me working through that design. And I have two other really great designers that work with me as well, so that's really fun. And then we have the construction company that I brought in two partners on. And these guys have built just massive commercial pools. Some of the largest projects in Florida, these guys had their hand in. So I wanted the best of the best, and I wanted them to have ownership in it, so that way I know that when I'm not there on the job, they're taking ownership of that project. So that's been really awesome. Really helped us grow. And then, by getting these guys to come in, they also had guys with them. So, we were able to grow our company very quickly, kind of, merging with this other company. And so yeah, that's been fantastic.
How about the selection process? I mean, the customer comes in, there's so much to it, colors and,
Right.
How about the selection process? What do you put the customer through for that?
So usually we try to look through past jobs we've done just to kind of get a gauge on what they like. They'll say, oh, I like this about this job. And, and a lot of customers as well, they might have like a Pinterest page or something where they, save pictures of things they like. So just kind of seeing what they like and then kind of taking their vision and then running it through my crazy brain and coming out with my own twist to what, they're already kind of seeing.
Yeah, the architecture of the house, does that play anything into what your vision is? Maybe if you got a, and I keep going back to the one project that you really liked is the one that I love, was the castle on the sea.
Right.
It almost looked like the big Roman, it was beautiful. Did that kind of, when it was done, did it look like the architecture of the house? Because I've seen a lot of the backyard, but I didn't really see a lot of the house.
Yeah, so, what's cool about that is the house was a big, Mediterranean home, and it was sitting on just a open lawn. It was just lawn and then this pink Mediterranean house, and kind of looked out of place, like it just wasn't anchored there, and so the architecture of the pool and everything around it really was a reflection of, okay, if this house was truly, in the Mediterranean, kind of an old world type house, what would the grounds, what would the landscape be? What would the pool look like? And so, yeah, that the architecture of the home was absolutely reflected in the pool. And then when the pool was done, it just made the house look 10 times better because it just, it had a purpose there. It looked anchored and it just felt very opulent.
I think that's what amazes me about you, looking at all of your projects and how different each one can be. You look at a lot of these designers and, they're either going to go modern or, some are stay rustic. But the things that you do and the things that you create is truly, it's truly an art form, and your vision is second to none.
Oh, thank you, man.
Yeah, I keep going back. I know we talked about Frankie's job, but the paradise on the bay for the two older, the wife and husband, it was real modern. The infinity pool that you look out to the bay,
right?
The water feature with the pebbles. I mean,
yeah.
that was one of my favorite projects that you've done, and I think it was definitely pretty cool. I want that in my house.
Yeah.
If you want to come and do it in my house.
Absolutely, man. Get me out of here in the summer. I'll come up to New York any day.
Yeah,
like August.
Yeah, you said you might be doing a job up in Long Island. What's that going to be like?
Yeah, so it's an old kind of Great Gatsby style property. It has a lot of history in the early 1900s. Like, it was all the who's who would go to this property, and so they're looking to bring it back to its kind of glory days. And so it's gonna be really cool. I hope that they move forward with that project because it's right on. Trying to think what they call that waterway now. So many projects, so many places I've been, but it's basically it's an incredible property to have acreage kind of jetting out into the water. It's
and that close to New York City.
Long Island Sound, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's on the Sound there.
You're talking geography, you're talking to the wrong guys.
Yeah. I don't even know where it was yesterday. I'm trying to remember. But yeah, it's super cool. So yeah, I mean, that's going to be neat. We have another job going in Freehold, New Jersey, which is lagoon style with a lazy river, grottos, all the cool stuff.
Does your process change a little bit when you get into maybe some of the colder states like New York? Mm-hmm. I know you work with the concrete. You pour your concrete in your pools for the setting, but out there, you're going to get freeze thaw. You're going to get some movement in the earth, snow, warm, cold.
Yeah.
Does your process change at all when you're out in that territory?
Growing up in Vermont, too.
Right? Yeah.
The dry lay.
Yeah. Well, the grottos change because we don't want these rocks to go through freeze thaw, possibly crack, fall down, and kill somebody. So, it's they're all structural grottos. I've developed these hollow rocks that are just incredible that we fill with concrete and rebar, and then we put the natural stone around it. So the actual grotto lid and the columns are structural, and then all the natural boulders go around it, and you'll never even know the difference. It's a beautiful blend. And with this technique, we're able to build 1,000 square foot grottos where everything's structural overhead, but then all the natural boulders are around it. And so for anything in a freeze-thaw climate or just a massive grotto, like we have a couple going in Florida right now that are, 500 to 1,000 square foot grottos. And, at that point, you can't get 1,000 square foot rock to sit on top anymore. Right. Yeah.
So the rocks become a facade to that structure.
Yeah. They're basically, just kind of naturalizing that structural element.
Yeah, so it's nice that we're doing a podcast here, so I just want to give a plug into Sentinix Landscape Supply and Yukon Valley Stones. So when you're up in New Jersey and Long Island, hit us up, man, because we got all the stones you need.
Like, I'll come out and talk to your rocks. I'll tell them all the bad stuff they've been saying about you.
Yeah, so that's kind of funny. Can we get into that? Because you did have an episode, or there was something. What was it where you were talking to rocks in one of those episodes? It was funny.
Yeah. Well, I always kind of did talk to him a little bit, but this one episode, it was really hot. I think it's August, super stressed out. And, by this point, all the camera guys were like, buddies, so they want to get a scene of me walking around and looking at the rocks. And it's kind of boring to just have someone film you and you're walking around. So, and all the funny stuff I do, like, cause this is probably season, I think it was either 2 or 3, doesn't matter. But by this point, I know all the funny stuff I do never makes the air. So I'm just doing it to get a chuckle out of these guys, right? So I'm really starting to talk kind of dirty to these rocks. Really getting into it, playing it up, and watching them try to like film, like try not to like shake the camera. So but then in the end, the joke was on me because I'm sitting there and I have no idea what the episode looks like. I'm just like every other viewer sitting there in front of the TV for the first time, like, what's this guy going to do now? And so not only did they air it, but they didn't even cut out any of it. It was like a minute and a half, a painful minute and a half of watching me just walk around talking to rocks. And I'm like, oh my God, now people are going to really know I'm crazy.
I don't think you're that crazy because we sell rocks for a living, and the people that we get in we'll spend hours on end looking at rocks.
Right.
I mean, it's just a rock.
Right.
But you have a connection with these rocks clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of that, though, and you said a lot of the funny things that you thought would have made it didn't.
Right.
Did you guys have any, like, bloopers, or how many takes did it was that process pretty funny or no?
Yeah, I mean, I wish they should have done outtakes and
Yeah.
stuff because, I mean, there was some good stuff in there, but, we have no say in it. That's why I'm excited to start doing our own production because, then we can share all those funny outtakes and have creative control over what shows, you know?
You say you're doing you're going to start a new production. What does the future hold? Are you going to try and get any more TV contracts? Or are you just going to go towards like the YouTube phase? I mean, what are you thinking in the future?
Yeah, so we'll see. I talked to my production company. We're going to try to produce one episode and see if they want to try to run with it, or we're just going to sell it on our own. And then, if all else fails, and just build our YouTube channel. I mean, there's people that are hugely successful there. That's where I got my start.
Just vlogging.
Right. So, I mean, that could be really cool. So, yeah, I mean, we'll see. But I just want to kind of what's a shame right now is that all the jobs on the show were super cool, but the jobs we're doing now are 4 or 5 times bigger, crazier. Like, they're missing the cream of the crop right now. Like, it's been all these years designing and getting these cool jobs, and now, we're not filming them. So we're going to film them on our own. But in the meantime, we've missed a lot of really cool things. But I'm going to go around and showcase these jobs, even if we don't show the process, just the finished work. And so we're going to be keeping everybody up to date on what we're doing and spending a lot more time on kind of following along on what's the latest and greatest with Lucas Lagoons.
Yeah, I think, that's what we're doing too, especially with these podcasts, just trying to stay in front of people, branding the name.
Yeah.
Because you got your name branded through TV. And now, like you said, when it stopped, you were like, I kind of miss it,
Right.
And you don't want anybody to say, hey, where's Lucas Lagoons now?
Right.
So that was a great question, Chris. And I think going forward, I think this is what we need to do. You said you wanted to kind of start a show like this as well, and hopefully you bring us on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Make sure you get us down here. We want to get
Yeah, then I'll get to interview you and ask you the questions.
Yeah, it's got to be a little bit harder on that side of the table.
Yeah, I guess we don't know till we try. We've been asked that a few times. But
Yeah. I'll help
We'll
you guys
see.
down. Yeah.
Well, it's
Make you drink some bourbon and get the truth out of you.
as long as we don't do it in Las Vegas, we'll be all right.
Yeah, we'll survive.
Lucas, we just really appreciate you sitting down with us. I mean, it's a beautiful day here in Sarasota. Yeah. I mean, I say it all the time. I don't know why I'm still in New York. So
back at home, it's 20 degrees, 40-mile-per-hour gusts. It's freezing. So we're out here in shorts and T-shirts in 65-degree weather, and I think everyone's looking at us funny.
Yeah, because it's cold to us.
Yeah, and it really does. I mean, our business shuts down, for 4 months.
Yeah.
Are you able to work all year long here?
Yeah, that's a good and bad thing. It's great, but sometimes I miss, like, that downtime I used to have, because here it's just, fast and faster, hot and hotter. That's the Florida lifestyle.
So there's no months where maybe it slows down, where you can kind of regroup and get your stuff back in order. It's just a constant go.
I mean, pre-TV, we had, a little downtime, but now it's just as fast as we can go.
Well, you must be doing something right if that's the case, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, in the winter we shut down. I thought maybe in the summer you guys are shut down for a few weeks because, man, it gets brutal over here.
Yeah, the humidity. I mean, the temperature, like out west, it'll get over 100. Where here we don't really get over 100. It's usually like between 92 and 98, but the humidity is 98%. So,
Yeah.
I mean, literally, it'll be like I just jumped out of a pool with my clothes on. I mean, just soaked all the way through with sweat. I can drink 20 bottles of water in a day and I have to pee once. I mean, it's brutal.
Yeah. Do you think there's ever going to be a day where you aren't hands-on, or do you love that part of it?
I guess, as things progress, I'm less and less hands-on, but I love getting on the job site. It's an art. There's no way to really have a blueprint for a waterfall. It's looking at each rock and putting it together. So I mean, I love that part, and I love, I check on the jobs, and usually spend a couple of days getting the flow going on the waterfall, and then my guys can kind of run with it from there. But I don't think I'll ever not be on the job at all, because that's really where the magic happens.
Yeah. Has there ever been an instance where, you're the artist, you get to the job site and you're like, man, it just doesn't look what I thought it was going to be, and take some of these rocks down.
Right,
Take it down now.
Yeah, I mean, I try to elevate everyone on my crew and respect what they're seeing, and I usually don't take things down. I might add things to it to enhance it. But I'm letting everyone kind of develop their own style. I mean, I've kind of, they've worked with me for so long, they kind of know what I like. But, I want everyone to, feel confident and kind of find their own style and not rely on me to pick every rock. So it's really been working. I mean, when I get to a job nowadays and it's not exactly the way I would do it, it's still beautiful and the clients are happy. So that's really all that matters. So
it's those fine details. We talked a little bit about it earlier, those fine details that take forever.
Right.
How do you do that at the end of your job? Are you the one that's really in charge of those fine details?
Not necessarily in charge of them, just going there and kind of saying what needs to happen or what would kind of give it that extra something special. So I guess I would say I'm in charge of the aesthetics of it, but not executing it, because I've got someone in charge of every aspect of the project now, and that's the only way to grow. And it's been hard to kind of let go, but it's, we're so busy now, it's the only way to move forward is to really have someone that you trust in charge of every aspect of the job and be able to go check on the job and, put in your 2 cents and give it that Lucas touch, they call it, and, give my little stamp of approval and get to the next one.
I know you do a ton of jobs, clearly, but every job's different. Is there any jobs this year coming up that are really exciting to you, that really stands out above the rest?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of cool jobs, but the one that I chose to film is the most unique project. So it's a guitar pool. And I know there's been people that have done them in the past, but no guitar pools like this pool. They wanted a natural lagoon. These people love music. They have parties where they have bands play. They like to support up-and-coming bands, so they're just music fanatics. And so it wasn't even their idea. They have all these guitars on the wall of their house, and I started designing this natural lagoon, and I'm thinking,
so it's a guitar shape.
So it's a guitar-shaped island with the neck of the guitar being like a walkway, and then but it sets inside of a natural setting lagoon, and it's super cool. Like, I don't want to give too much away.
Yeah.
We're going to be posting a lot about it coming up, and then we're going to create that full episode off of that job, so you'll have to stay tuned. It's going to be spectacular.
We're excited to see it. Have you ever done any pools for any celebrities or big names?
What's funny is we really haven't. We've obviously done pools for a lot of successful people, but most people that you just wouldn't know who they are. So I mean, I'm up for it. We have had some people reach out to us, but a lot of times celebrities want stuff for free just to say, well, you can say you did my job, and they get kind of those egos, and I like more kind of laid back people. I do have a cool guy that reached out to us. Teddy Williams from the Carolina Panthers. And so he loves the show. He wants to do something, but he wants to also be a brand ambassador and help us get some jobs with different celebrities and sports stars and stuff. So hopefully, that'll be something cool. He's actually going to be here for the grand opening party on I think we're going to do, we haven't set it on a date yet. I want to do an April Fool's party because we're doing this whole joke thing. Because I love jokes and I love like keeping life fun and light. But that falls on a Wednesday, so I have a lot of pushback, especially from Frankie. He wants it on a Friday, which would be the 3rd. So somewhere between the 1st and the 3rd, we're going to have this party. So if you guys want to come check it out, we'll let you know when it is. But basically,
what in details with this party? Is there just going to be a lot of April Fool's jokes or what?
Yeah. So we started this thing to be, to engage our kind of social media platforms. We're starting something called Joke of the Month, and we're going to do an adult joke and a kid's joke. And so hence the green screen behind you. The first joke involves Superman. Frankie's playing Superman. He's flying around the town. Of course, we filmed it here on a green screen, and then we got drone footage of the town. So it's hilarious. I don't want to give the joke away, but it involves Frankie flying around and me falling to my death. But, and then there's a kid's joke, and Crash dressed up in a chicken costume.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
I've seen that.
So wait till you see the edited joke. It's going to be good. So I've been kind of teasing with a little bit of footage here and there, but hopefully by Monday, if Kevin gets it done, or Tuesday, beginning of this next week, we're going to have those 2 jokes out. And so we're going to put it on YouTube channel, of course, do all, like the Instagram and Facebook and all that stuff. So it'll be super fun. So when people come for the party, if they want to tell a joke on the green screen, and then if your joke wins, so everyone submits their jokes, the joke that wins will win like $200 cash prize, like a T-shirt, hat. And then the cast from Insane Pools is going to reenact your joke. So there'll be one joke that we use as basically a skit per month, one adult, one kid joke.
Wow, that sounds like fun.
Do you have anything going where we can win a free pool?
Yeah. When I get rich, I'll do that. Yeah. I get those requests all the time. So I'm like, man, I'd love to do that. But
maybe if you get
awfully expensive.
Get signed by a big TV network, maybe that's the next big thing coming.
Exactly, yeah.
So just think of your guy over here, man.
Yeah,
right here.
He just bought a house and has a pool. He needs a pool makeover.
That's first in-ground pool, so.
Hey, I got an idea, though, for a whole nother branding idea. So you know how tiny homes are all a rage right now, but they're really just like trailers? It's rebranding. Now, if you tell someone you live in a trailer, you're like, trailer trash. You tell them you live in a tiny home, you're like, oh, you're cool. You're like a hipster, right? So above ground pools, picture this. I told Ross, because my designer just bought a home with an above ground pool. I'm like, you just don't say above ground pool. Say 360-degree swim up bar.
There it is.
So imagine that. You build the swim up bar around it. You build your deck around it. Instead of elevated, it's like everyone can sit around the pool. Maybe a little area with like a tiki hut or some kind of roof over it. And so it's kind of like the trailer to tiny home. It's above ground pool to 360 swim up bar.
There it is.
It's all in how you brand it.
I think this is why you're so successful. I bet your brain probably never stops.
Yeah.
Do you sleep at night?
Well, I work so hard. Usually, once I fall asleep, I sleep pretty good. Yeah. But if I wake up with an idea like that, I can't sleep.
You're wide awake.
Yeah, I'm screwed. Then I might as well just get up and start writing it down.
We started this. We got here 2 hours ago, and we just met you. And your personality, and I can see why your company's so successful. And going forward, we wish you the best of luck.
Awesome.
Absolutely,
Thank
man.
you. Yeah.
Thanks for giving us the opportunity to sit down with you. It's been cool being out in Florida, seeing your new showroom over here. So you guys aren't on TV, but you guys can still see it on Hulu and Netflix. Is that correct?
Yeah, I have to double check the Netflix thing, but I know it's on Hulu, and they re-air it on the DIY network, which is changing to Magnolia Network, hence why our show's not going on right now. I don't know what they're going to pick up for airing, but hopefully, Chip and Joanna will see that, they need the outdoor to be as beautiful as the indoors. It'd be cool to collaborate on a job, so we'll see what happens.
It'd be cool to get you on HDTV.
Yeah.
Chip and Joanna. Maybe they're our next guest.
They should say, hey,
Pat,
we got this guy. We got a guy for you.
We got a guy for you. Thank you so much.
You bet.
I appreciate
Thanks,
it.
man. It's been great.
Thanks, guys.